Tonight, putting locals first in their share of the big dollar contracts from all those new energy projects. And Australia's best two-wheelers on dirt hit the track for a national round at Crystalbrook.
This is Southern Cross News with Alison Grower.
Hello, great to have your company again tonight. This week's mining conference has wrapped up in Whyalla as the community now begins jostling for its share of lucrative contracts associated with all of those new energy projects. BHP has announced a new initiative attached to the Olympic Dam mine, which will generate around $2 million worth of contract work.
For 30 years, Olympic Dam has been a jewel in the state's mining crown. That jewel is set for a polish, with $600 million of investment planned.
So the smelter campaign is essentially a rebuild of the smelter on site. The idea behind that means we have sustainable growth opportunities for the next 20, 30 years.
And $100 million of work is being allocated to the Upper Spencer Gulf. BHP will partner with supply company Ceres to launch a local buying program for companies who employ less than 20 people.
We provide the scopes of work for these smaller items of work. Ceres then go out into the community, find these small businesses.
The announcement has been welcomed as a game changer for the region.
And hopefully get on board in a very big way and secure a very good future.
They want to support the mum and dad businesses of the Upper Spencer Gulf. They want to be able to deal more directly and cut out a fair bit of the crap.
BHP in the eastern states have delivered $140 million of work to over 800 small businesses. Mr. Hinton admits BHP has been difficult to access, but says they're trying to address the reputation.
We think very locally, so my job is working with the local communities, with our corporate affairs team.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Meantime, the big announcement on the Carrapateena copper mine is getting many Port Augusta businesses excited about the years ahead, as Amelia Simpson reports.
It's all systems go for the $916 million copper and gold mine at Carrapateena after approval from the board of Oz Minerals. Local leaders say the project will lift confidence and bring a new vitality to the region.
To the tune of almost $1 billion. And that is a significant amount of money. This is going to be the second biggest copper deposit in the world.
The response in Port Augusta has been nothing but positive. The Shadow Minister for Energy and Mining says it's not just about 1,000 jobs.
Another very positive aspect of this announcement is that not only is it one new mine, but it actually supports the other existing mines in the area by giving more critical mass to our region around Port Augusta.
The first phase will begin next month with construction of on-site accommodation and an airstrip.
But for them as a company, they've identified that it's better to have a long-term workforce as opposed to a transient workforce.
Which is going to be great for motels, it's going to be great for pubs, it's going to be great for, food, those types of things, cafes. Over the long term, I'm hoping that we'll end up with a population growth here of people coming to live in Port Augusta and work at Carrapateena.
The company now needs a mining lease from the state government, and this approval is expected to be granted within 6 months. Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Out west, the politicking continues over the Murray River to Broken Hill pipeline. The opposition spokesman for Western New South Wales made a visit to the Silver City this week, demanding the government release its business plan.
Last month, Broken Hill's Mayor Daria Turley called for an immediate moratorium on the $500 million pipeline. She said it was about pressing the pause button until the business case is released, something the state opposition agrees with.
A very critical issue for everyone here is they want that business case on the table so they can have a look at it and they can make their own minds up then about the value or not of the pipeline.
Mr Veach says it's vital the Broken Hill population knows what it will cost the city if the pipeline goes ahead. Premier Mike Baird made it clear on announcing the project, council would be asked to pay its share.
Once the pipeline's constructed, I would be very concerned about the price of water. When you turn on the tap to wash your dishes, how much is it going to cost? When you turn on the tap to wash your clothes, how much is it going to cost?
The opposition says time is running out for the government to release the costing details before construction starts.
If the business case was so good, if it was so fantastic, you'd think the government would be out there showing it to everyone.
Just how much locals will pay to cover the pipeline will be decided by the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal. Mr Veitch is keen to brief opposition leader Luke Foley on what he's heard from key stakeholders this week.
I'll prepare a brief and take it back to Luke, and then Luke will give consideration to what our position, our response will be to the Council's call for a moratorium on the pipeline construction.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Well, Port Lincoln has another gold medal winner to be proud of, and she's also made her mark in the swimming pool. Jade Calvary has returned home after winning 6 gold medals at the World Dwarf Games, as Jason Kemp reports.
Step aside, Cole Chalmers, there's a new superfish in Port Lincoln. Jade Calvary is still buzzing after returning home from Canada with a booty of 6 gold medals.
Being able to walk into work and just down the street and be able to say that I am a world champion, it's pretty good.
The 18-year-old became the first South Australian female to win 6 gold medals at the World Dwarf Games, her achievement exceeding even her own expectations.
So many people are saying good job and well done, and it's something that I never thought would happen.
Hundreds of athletes from around the world attended the Games. As SA's only representative in the Aussie team, Jade set the fastest time in the 50-metre freestyle, and she didn't need to look too far to find her inspiration.
Being able to prove to people that distance and wherever you are, it doesn't matter. If you've got a dream, you can do it.
Jade's life story has had its tough times, but she's always stayed positive.
When I was younger, I used to be bullied a lot. And I still get looks and that, but now I'm kind of being able to experience and being the kind of independent person I now am. I don't take any of it in.
Jade has more medals in her sight and hopes to be selected for the 2020 Tokyo Paralympics.
It doesn't stop any barriers or challenges that may come your way, and you just need to tackle it head on because you can do it.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break. What the Governor-General thought about Port Augusta during his visit this week. That's next on Southern Cross News. Welcome back. Governor-General Sir Peter Cosgrove has thanked Port Augusta for a warm welcome and has congratulated the city for weathering some hard times. Sir Peter has praised the Port Augusta community for its resilience, and he looks forward to coming back one day.
Port Augusta turned on a balmy evening for the Governor-General when he and Lady Cosgrove wrapped up their visit with a civic reception at the Arid Lands Botanic Gardens. Stephen Atkinson, a local Bungalow man, conducted a welcome to country before Sir Peter Cosgrove acknowledged Port Augusta's community spirit.
One word, resilience. Each time other people might think, oh, the population of Port Augusta has been knocked down. Nope, they climb straight back up. The referee will not apply a standing 8 count because they're up and back in, battling away to say the history and the potential of this community is too important not to survive and thrive.
Sir Peter was also happy to chat with those involved in the recent solar thermal campaign for the city.
And we've got the great news about the rejuvenated industry on the solar thermal plant. That is great news.
Yeah, everybody was friendly. There are lots of, people represented different organisations, and the Governor-General was lovely, and so was Lady Cosgrove too, and they chatted with everybody. And
Sir Peter thanked Port Augusta for its matchless hospitality and says he'll be back to delve more into Wadlata's Tunnel of Time.
I think every person who comes to Port Augusta for less than a couple of days is selling themselves short. So after I retire as Governor-General, that's the next time I'll have free time, I would love to come back.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Well, some change is on the way to the laws around applying for a liquor licence in New South Wales. Clubs New South Wales wants to have less community consultation in the process, but the manager of one of Broken Hill's most popular clubs isn't sure that's the way to go.
Michael Boland runs the Broken Hill Musicians Club, but he's not convinced Clubs New South Wales are on the right track. He believes any move to block the community from having a say on a liquor licence application is a step in the wrong direction.
Clubs are community-based organisations. We're non-for-profit. The members own the clubs, so we're very in tune with the community, and I'm really not sure what they're trying to achieve with locking out community groups around the licence process for clubs.
Clubs New South Wales wants to remove the right for New South Wales Health, Family and Community Services, as well as Aboriginal leaders to have their say on licence applications. but Mr Boland believes their input is valuable.
The better we have connections, the more harm minimisation. And I'm quite proud of the club industry and what we do around harm minimisation, around gambling and liquor.
Clubs New South Wales argues having too many involved in the consultation would only confuse the process of not only getting a liquor licence, but extending trading hours. Mr Boland doesn't agree.
If you're looking to extend your licence from, say, midnight through to 3 a.m, you need to put a case to the community on why that is required, especially in a community like Broken Hill. You need to put a case forward.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
This Sunday, the Whyalla campus for UniSA will be opening its doors to anyone who's thinking about further study close to home. John Hunt has this preview.
Not that long ago, students studying at UniSA's Whyalla campus struggled to get access to the resources their city counterparts took for granted. But as technology advances, the local campus is starting to see a shift in what it can offer students 400 kilometres away from Adelaide.
University is much more accessible these days for all walks of life. Studying locally is a really cost-effective and supportive way to study university.
The uni's open day will run from 11 till 3 p.m. on Sunday.
We'll have an expo-style booth set up in the library space where staff and students will be on hand to talk to.
There'll also be campus tours and program information sessions, so prospective students can get a thorough understanding of what the courses are about.
So potential students can go along to those sessions and find out more about learning requirements and the support that's available.
Mr Havelberg says the uni has a proud track record of graduates finding work quickly and in their local area.
All of our graduates have successfully moved into graduate careers, so we have great outcomes from our student population that study locally.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Boaties in Port Pirie are being reminded the boat ramp on Main Road will be closed this Sunday and Monday as repairs are carried out to pontoon damage back in May. They are wanting to make good use of the low tides to be able to get the work done, so boat owners can launch from the ramp across the John Pirie Bridge. A Crystal Brook author is switching from novels to children's fiction just in time for Christmas. Sue Short has gathered friends and family in Port Pirie for the launch of her book, Why Father Christmas Was Late. The book is 5 years in the making and will be soon on bookshelves everywhere. With 2 novels to her credit, this book is a departure from her normal writing style, and with a lot of positive feedback, Sue is getting ready for another project.
The next one, theoretically, will be another kids' book, done the same sort of genre, so rhythmic rhyme, and yeah, that's about monsters.
Port Lincoln's hockey community can look forward to playing on a brand new turf next season, as Jason Kemp reports.
A final training session before Port Lincoln hockey clubs embark on the finals. Teams sharpening their skills, getting one last run through on home turf that's about to be turfed in favour of a new surface.
Really important that we got this grant, as our turf is at the end of its life. In fact, it probably was at its end of its life maybe a year ago.
It's estimated the project is going to cost around $200,000.
We needed it to happen and happen fairly urgently, otherwise it just would have been an absolute disaster.
The injection, part of a $6 million statewide grant to upgrade community sports, and the timing is pretty good after wild weather damaged the surface.
Sideways rain, it actually had bubbled our turf, so the water had got under the turf, so it would have been dangerous for us to even step out on it.
The upgrade is part of a long-term stadium strategy for the hockey facilities, with new lighting also on the wish list.
They have given us some grief, so we will have to look at how we fix those next year. They are nearly all working.
There's high hopes the upgrade will put Port Lincoln in the box seat to start pitching the city as a host for future state and international games, including the prospect of one day seeing the Hockey Roos come to town.
Oh, we can only hope. We'd love to have them here.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us. Your Friday footy tipsters are all set to go right after the break on Southern Cross News. Let's get straight to the guys now who reckon that they've got all the inside info on everything footy for your weekend and our Friday footy tips.
Welcome to round 16 of SGL football. This round starts with West taking on South at Central Oval on Saturday. South are coming off a good win over the Lions, and West will be looking to recapture some of their early season form after having won just 2 of their past 6 matches. I'm tipping South in this one. The Saturday match in Pirrie sees Solly's take on Central. Solly's have been impressive all season and find themselves 8 points clear at the top of the table. Central have had a tough season, but have blooded quite a few younger players. I'm tipping Solly's. Final match of the round has Port hosting the Lions on Sunday. The Lions were able to stick with South for 3 quarters last week, only to be run over in the last. Ports, after a promising start of the season, have just 3 wins this year and will be disappointed with the way their year's panned out. I'm tipping the Lions.
It's finals time here in Whyalla, and the major semi-final is on Saturday at Bennett Oval. It's West Whyalla versus North Whyalla, first versus second. North not exactly taking the greatest form into this game. They promptly went and lost to the bottom team last week. They really need to have everything go their way to even trouble the top team West, who happened to beat a team by 146 points just the week before. So all points point to West winning this one and winning it fairly comfortably and going through to another grand final. Sunday's elimination final, Central Whyalla versus Rapina. Rapina snuck into the finals by 0.7% after a disastrous loss the weekend before. Central's also lost their game against Marina Bay, so they're not exactly travelling that well. But I think with a full team, the sniff of the preliminary final, I think the Roosters will be too strong.
Welcome to Port Lincoln Footy Tips and the last minor round games. We kick things off with match of the round at Centenary Oval, where Waybacks are hosting Mallee Park. The last 2 times these teams have played is come down to the wire, with Mallee Park taking the cherries. This week, however, Mallee Park are down a couple of key forwards, and I'm tipping Waybacks to get up and win this. Still in a close one, but I'm tipping Waybacks by 2 goals. In the next game, we've got Tasman's hosting Lincoln South at Ravendale Oval. Lincoln South are playing finals next week and want to come in with a little bit of confidence. They're going to need to win this one, and I'm tipping them to win and win this one by 4 goals. In the last game, we've got Marble Range hosting Boston's out at Whangaree. Boston's have struggled all year, and Marble Range are just hitting some form. I'm tipping Marble Range to win this one and win this one comfortably.
Finals football in Broken Hill this weekend sees North take on Central. Central, after beating West at the Memorial Oval, will certainly be up and about, and so will North after losing to South. It'll be a great contest, 2 teams clashing, but I believe this will go to the Magpies by 8 to 10 points.
And thanks for all that advice, fellas. Now, the best of Australia's motocross riders will be in Crystalbrook this weekend for a round of the national titles. It's taken a lot of work to make the track meet the standards, as Rachel Nell found out.
The dirt will fly when around 170 of the country's top riders line up for the heats in a round of the Australian Post Classic Motocross Championship.
Quite a few lads come from Queensland and Western Australia, New South Wales, Victoria, quite a few locals riding as well.
Spectators will get to see up close the best in the game and the high level of skill it takes to lead the pack.
Coming from Victoria, so he'll be here, and he's 6 times Australian champion, rode for Australia.
Also taking part in the weekend will be competitive categories for the classic bikes, with a few golden oldies getting back into the saddle.
It's really good to see the older bikes and the ex-national riders back here on the circuit.
The Crystalbrook track is considered one of the best in the country, and the national motocross hasn't been held here since 2011. But that's all about to change this weekend, with the first race being held on Saturday. But now it's my turn to take a spin around the track.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Your weekend weather is next, and there's plenty of sunshine to farewell winter. Well, welcome to the weekend, and more of today's brilliant sunshine is on the cards. Today, Port Augusta was again our warmest centre for 19 degrees, around 16 or 17 for the rest, with a sunny day in Adelaide. The satellite is showing our southern part of the state still being impacted by moist onshore winds producing cloud, but no rain. A ridge of high pressure continuing to keep the north under clear skies, so be prepared for some frosty mornings for the weekend. On the water tomorrow, moderate winds from the southwest to southeast with seas up to 1 metre. Sunrise for Saturday will be at 6:47 and sunset at 4 minutes to 6. To the forecast for tomorrow, lots and lots of sunny icons there, again getting down to 2 or 3 degrees for most centres overnight, and then warming up to around 16 or 17. Adelaide will be sunny and 16 if you are heading out of town. The next 4 days will continue to feel the impact of that high. Port Lincoln sunny through till Tuesday, when you will get a week change then, and chance of a shower over the weekend for Cleve. Woodner on trend for blue skies and around 18. Whyalla will also enjoy a lovely weekend. Port Augusta and Kadina also seeing out the final weekend of winter with some mild conditions. Again, no chance of rain until later next week. In Port Pirie, 2 days of sunny 17 and then a fine start to the new work week. Clare will be a little bit cooler than the rest for 13 or 14, but fine. And Broken Hill, big blue skies for you and warming up to 16 or 17 from some pretty chilly old nights. Well, that wraps things up for your Southern Cross News for another week. You can catch up on any of tonight's stories or past bulletins just by checking out our YouTube channel. And of course, there's always Facebook and Twitter for breaking news, and always happy to get an email as well. From everyone here at Southern Cross Television, have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday. Bye for now.